Today we're going to work on spices, the least expensive way to buy and organize your spices. Let's go. Today we're going to take a look at the cheapest way to organize spices and buy spices. Because they come in small, different shaped containers, spices often get pretty out of hand really fast. So today we're going to just do an easy clean out of your spices and kind of declutter those, and then talk about different ways to organize them. Because I like to keep things a little bit fun, I have something I'm bringing along today. You're going to need, I have Oreos, some kind of treat for yourself, and a pen and paper, and your trash can, as usual. Okay, so we're going to where our spices are. First things first, just take a look at what you have there, and honestly assess if you have used each spice as you're going through, pulling them out. Is there anything in there you haven't used in 5 years? Okay? Maybe you had a crazy exotic boyfriend who loves to eat Mediterranean food, and so you bought some crazy spice to make that, and you haven't used that again, and that guy was kind of a jerk. So let's let those go. Oh, what is that? Tarragon leaves. I never use these. I have no idea. I don't even know what a tarragon leaf is. Okay, so that one's going to go. Just pull them each out. As you pull them out, you're deciding, no, I never use this. Right in the trash. Okay? Oreo. Can I tell you a secret? I just did our spices when we moved into this house about 2 years ago, so mine's pretty easy. But I bet you're going to have a lot of things like in the back, like that crazy Cajun seasoning that you never use. You don't make jambalaya? Let it go. Also, you probably have a lot of different containers. You know, spices come in boxes, in weird bottles. It's okay. They don't all have to match. Even when we're done, they don't all have to match. Let me stand over here so you don't have to look at my back. Good idea. Oh my goodness. Eating Oreos while you organize is such a good idea. Am I right? Okay. Everything you haven't used in 5 years, gone. According to fancy cooking sites on the internet, spices go bad or lose their spice after 6 months. I think we could ask the Spice Girls about that. It seems a little extreme to me. I'm going to say 2 or 3 years. If there are any here that you haven't replaced in 2 or 3 years, we're going to replace them. In fact, my professional advice to you, if you haven't done a big overhaul like this in a long time, is to replace all of your spices today. The second step, we're going to write down all the spices that you need to buy, that I need to buy, on our shopping list to replace all of these. Okay? And I know you're thinking, that's going to be really expensive, Noni, but here's my secret for you today. Buy them in these little bags. I accidentally cut this one open before the video started because I was so excited. But if you buy your spices in bags like this, they are so much cheaper. This little guy was 79 cents. Usually those bags are located in the produce section of the supermarket. Sometimes they're in the Latin foods section. Sometimes they're in the spice aisle. But usually they're in the produce aisle. And they're kind of hard to find. Ask somebody, where are your bagged spices? So, knowing that it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, let's write down all the ones you want to replace. So I'm not asking you to dump any of these out right now. I'm just asking you to write down on the list all of them so that you can replace them at the store. And for that tedious task, I'm going to say push pause on the video and do it. I'm going to eat the Oreos. This one here. This is paprika. This is a good example. I do use paprika, but not every day. It would take me more than 2 or 3 years to use this whole bottle. So if I just replace the ones when they're empty, they're going to go stale too often. I'm not saying that right, but you know what I mean. So what I'm going to do is replace everything and write on a sticky note or 3x5 card or something today's date or the date that I go to the store and buy all these new spices. But anyway, just the month and the year. I'm going to write new spices. I'm going to put that in the back or underneath the spices, that wherever they're stored. Okay, for me, I'm going to stick it in the back of the drawer so I know when I last changed them out. So let's be real, it's going to be like 4 or 5 years. I'll be like, I think I should redo the spices, right? How long has it been? And I can check this, and there it is. Or when your nosy mother-in-law comes over and says, this tarragon doesn't smell right. When's the last time you changed it out? You can tell her. Wouldn't that be helpful? Even if you don't want to buy new containers, buy new spices, you can always just take the container that you have, dump out the old, and refill it with the new on the bag so it's fresh. Okay? Now, if you do want to get all matching containers so that it looks pretty, I guess is the only reason you would do this, right? Or so that you can see the labels more easily. So the next thing you want to do is count how many containers you're going to need to buy. So, line them up, count them up. Count it up. 22. And write it down. Now, these, I'm going to tell you where I got these. These were, you can get them online or in the store, at the Container Store. They were much less expensive than I anticipated them being. I think they were about $1.39 each. And if you get them with plastic lids instead of the metal looking lid, they were even less. So it's not really that cost prohibitive to have them all matching. It's just a little time consuming when you're writing the labels on and everything, or creating labels. So you don't have to do that. You can buy the ones that already have the labels. There are so many great ways to store your spices, and you just like one little trip down Pinterest lane will show you so many different ideas. I can't even go into all of them right now because everybody's kitchen is different. And so my drawer works great for me, but I've seen cabinets that work really well with the Lazy Susans. Love that. Make sure that you take your how many you need and your measurements when you go shopping. Don't forget that. Once you have your new spices and they are decanted into your containers, whether they're old containers or new containers, you want to somehow be able to tell what you've got. So however you're storing them, you need to label them. These I label with just a Sharpie straight on the container. You can, and sometimes they rub off a little bit, but that's okay. I just rewrite them on there. That's why I keep the pen right in the drawer. You can alphabetize them if you want to. Go crazy. I just keep mine sweet and savory. Some people do herbs and spices. Some people alphabetize. However you want to do it, just do it. Okay, so I'm just going to park these back in here. I've heard that storing them near the oven takes away some of their pungency, right? But as you can see, mine are right near the oven because I thought maybe the heat takes away their pungency a little bit, but having to walk across the kitchen to get a jar of spices takes away from my desire to cook. So you have to choose what's more important. Spices aren't that exciting, right? So you're thinking, Noni, why are you talking about spices? Well, I'm going to tell you. Because a little while ago, I was in this magazine, you might have heard of it. I was so excited about it. Anyway, I gave them a lot of organizing tips to kind of pick and choose from for this issue. And the one that they quoted me about, right here on page 82, is about spices. That's everything I've just showed you. Great job. I hope your spices are feeling more organized. You've gotten rid of a few. You've decided what you're going to do to make them look prettier if you want to. And I'll see you next time. Have an Oreo.